Oh, I'm sorry, Bill. Oh, I'm sorry, Bill. I don't know how linear the story is. Or like...
Rough night?
Oh, hello.
Mmm.
Excuse me.
Overdid it on the soporific. Why do I feel like I've had this conversation before?
I'm just glad you're in the mood to converse again. Seriously, you took so much of that snake oil last night, I was starting to think you wanted me quiet for good.
Oh, so okay. Bill needed to die either way, because otherwise this game wouldn't bring us to the point where he talks to me. I just need a break now and then,
It's
come
no
on.
personal slight. I just need some quiet time, or I'll go insane.
I get it. We all need our space. I know it's not easy, but there's really no need.
Not easy. Bill, I've been hearing your voice since you died. You don't shut up unless I take that accursed medicine. I'd say that qualifies as a bit more than not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, how do you think I feel? You think I enjoy being trapped here, listening to you whine about how hard your life's become? You at least still have yours.
He has a point. The man has a point. Yeah, you're making me go
I'm
insane,
losing my
man.
grip on reality, and it's all because of you.
Believe me, I know. It's not a pretty situation. But the bottom fact is, you're stuck with me. So you can either keep living this way and ruin your life even more than you already have, or you can do as I've told you and try to figure out a way to let me move on.
Have we been to a psychic or a medium? Or I don't know. Have we tried all the supernatural paranormal options? Or has he just been in denial this whole time? Yeah, let's find the burglar.
Right. For the 1000th time, you want me to find the burglar from the flower shop.
Yes, exactly.
I still don't get how that's going to help.
I've told you several times, although to be fair, if you actually listened to me, I'd still be alive. At any rate, you wouldn't have been in that situation in the first place if not for him. Once the criminal has been caught and is in custody, we'll both get what we want.
But still, like, I don't know. How would we even keep him in custody? He did breaking and entering, but he took stuff and then paid for it? It's so weird. Justice.
Justice?
More than that, you'll have that elusive thing you always wanted to give others.
What's that?
Closure.
Ooh.
You do realize the trail's pretty much frozen at this point. Our man has seemingly vanished into the ether.
Yes.
That's no excuse not to keep trying. I know the cases Upton's been giving you these past few months haven't been the most thrilling, but they've at least kept you active. So just keep at it. Something has to turn up eventually. Unless, of course, you want to wind up in Riverview Asylum. And if that happens, I'm really not going to keep quiet.
Fine.
Good man. Now, I suggest you stop talking to thin air, or Adelaide's going to start wondering if you've gone mental. Or just maybe, she'll stop wondering.
Very funny.
Look, this bed is massive, massive, massive. Who has a bed that fits like 3 pillows across? This is crazy.
Don't worry, Miles. I don't watch when you and Adelaide are having your private time.
Oh, jeez.
It would be nice if you didn't
Thanks.
spend the whole time humming.
I thought you appreciated some romantic music.
That must be distracting.
Cozy little winter getaway. That would be a welcome change from the winters in this city. I always liked that self-portrait of Adelaide's mother, even if the eyes do always follow you around the room.
Creepy.
That's a fun little apparatus Adelaide got you. Very soothing.
Watching it spin long enough puts me right to sleep.
I'd say that's really more the soporifics doing.
Books.
Remember before you started taking that medicine and you could actually read a book for more than 10 minutes before falling asleep? You were a lot more fun to talk to back then.
Yeah, but what do you mean? You're literally a voice in my head of a friend of mine that died. That's
You should have let me be buried wearing my hat. At least it
Crazy.
wouldn't be gathering dust like it is now.
If I'd done that, it would be dust right now.
Heh, fair point.
maybe it's the hat that's keeping him like tethered to this reality. You should salt and burn the hat. That's what I learned from watching Supernatural.
Wouldn't you say it's time for a change of clothes, Miles? You've been wearing that coat for who knows how long.
So? Addie gave it to me. Besides, it gives me character.
Right. Brooding detective in a long black coat. That's never been seen before.
He's got
What are you
a
talking
point.
about, Bill?
He's got a point.
Never mind.
He's definitely got a point.
I'm certain a permanent indentation in the shape of your rear is starting to form on that thing.
Close.
Pretty, but I'm glad I don't have a sense of smell anymore.
I mean, you anyway had allergies, so...
Adelaide's last performance. She could really bring the house down.
Wait, is Adelaide not alive?
Adelaide.
Nice stand. Oh, he's actually gonna go look? Okay.
Miles, care to explain what you're doing?
Just checking to make sure everything that needs to be in here still is.
Right. If you start taking that stuff during the day, you're really going to have problems.
Oh, it's pills. Ah, okay, it's pills, it's pills.
Adelaide's mother certainly enjoyed pressing flowers. Do you suppose she does more of it now that she's retired? Adelaide's mother... Ha, that poster brings back some memories. That's from around the time you two met, isn't it?
Yes, back when Addie was singing at the Angel.
So they really frequented this angel pub.
It's admirable just how organized Adelaide is. Maybe someday the same can be said about you.
Yeah, there's nothing on the dressing table. It's all in drawers,
admirable.
so yeah, that is admirable. Can you come over here? If I click on it again, is he gonna do something else?
Yes, your soporific is still in there. Stop being so paranoid.
Okay. What's a soporific? Anyway, let's go.
Well, look who's awake. Ready to rejoin the living?
Very much so.
Adelaide? Yes, Adelaide.
You were talking in your sleep again.
Did I say anything interesting?
Do you ever?
You have to admit, she's got you there.
Wow.
How are you feeling?
A touch groggy. I think I took a bit too much of the soporific last night.
That's what I thought. When you went for your after-lunch nap, you'd barely gotten breakfast down. I saved you some bread and cheese if you're hungry.
Thank you, but I haven't got much of an appetite.
You really should regulate your doses more carefully, love. I'm sure dull senses and an empty stomach aren't much help to your work. By the way, a message arrived via courier for you this morning. I put it on the table along with today's newspaper.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you, Addie.
It might do you some good to look in the mirror a bit more often, Miles.
No, I like this look. Scruffy
I
look.
always liked that painting. It's impossible to see that kind of scenery here in the city.
Didn't he say the same about the painting in the flower shop? He just really doesn't like being in the city.
If there isn't a pair of scissors or a hairbrush in Adelaide's hands, you can bet there'll be a book.
Let me look around the room and then I'll talk
Remember
to her.
how much time Adelaide had to spend convincing you to sit for this? At least these days, with ferrotype tech advancing the way it is, these portraits can be done in just a matter of minutes.
Ferrotype tech. Is that for photography? Is that what he means?
How are your parents doing these days? It's been ages since you wrote them.
Yeah, how are your parents?
I can see why Adelaide calls that plant Miles Jr. It's a spitting image. Didn't I give you two that clock as a wedding present? Too bad it stopped working.
Too bad.
Your book collection has always astonished me. Heaven help you if you ever decide to move.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be a lot of boxes.
Your book collection...
Um,
Adelaide's father certainly had an amazing life.
yeah.
Imagine being the personal barber to the Prime Minister and his family. The gossip and secrets he must have heard.
Wow.
That makes me wonder what old Mrs. Handbrook is up to these days.
Yeah, true. Has someone broken in again and stolen stuff and
Building
left
those model
money?
ships was a good way to pass the time between cases. Hopefully it'll be a while before you get enough time to build another one.
Truncheon? What's that?
I'd love to see the look on Snelling's face if he ever found out you kept your old truncheon.
I don't know what that is.
Ah, the Havisham case. Our first time out as partners. First in a long line of successful cases. It's nice to have a memory of the good old days.
A memory of the good old days.
Bollingworth Ale. My favorite! And a nice souvenir from the Angel. You really ought to go back there someday.
He doesn't go to the pub anymore?
It's been so long since you used that desk. Did you even notice when Adelaide got rid of the chair?
To be fair, he could just use one of these, but yeah. Someone took your chair.
It's been so long.
Yeah, that's a bit crazy. Let's talk to... No, let's look at the message. Fordham. A big case has come in, which I think will interest you. Meet me at the... What? Ruin Coffee House for more details. Ruin? Just doesn't say Raven. Ruin Coffee House for more details. Upton.
Upton says she's got a big case for me.
Does she go into any more detail than that?
No, but then you know Upton. Always on a need-to-know basis. Especially since she's been giving me these cases under the table.
To be fair, they haven't exactly been anything of note.
True, but she's still sticking her neck out for me. I can understand why she's so secretive about it.
I think she just misses having you around the station.
Poor Connie. With you quitting and me dying, she must be bored stiff at work.
Anyway, I'm supposed to meet her at the Ruin Coffee House. That can't be right.
It's not like Constance to make mistakes. She must have gotten in somehow.
Guess I'll head over there and see what she's got then.
Okay. Yeah, if two of your detectives, like, I don't know, leave, one leaving by not being alive anymore and the other one leaving by just quitting, yeah, that must be a big blow. The New Britannia Gazette. Oh, I'm not reading all of that. Remembering the HMS Legia. Gascon Grand Dame dies. Ethernicity. It's real and it's coming. Is that like AI? Second bizarre murder baffles police. I hope he will remember what he needs to remember from this. Maybe I'll read it. Okay, let's talk again to Adelaide.
Addie?
Yes, dear?
Now we can see her face. Very pretty. Herself.
How are you? It feels as though we haven't seen much of each other these past few days.
I've been fine.
Addie, you're not a very good liar. What's on your mind?
I'm worried about you, Miles.
I know, but I've told you there's no need to worry about me. I'm all right.
You're not all right, Miles. I may not be a good liar, but you can't fool me either.
I am all right. What do I have to do to convince you of that?
You could start by throwing out that sleeping medicine. It's turned you into a different person.
I need it to sleep, Addie. I'll become an even worse person without it, believe me.
I know Bill's death was hard for you. It was hard for all of us. But whatever it is that's bothering you, you know you can talk to me about it. That's what I'm here for.
I know, my love. Your support means the world to me. I need some time to deal with things. That's all. It won't always be like this, I promise.
Making promises you can't keep, eh, Miles? That'll end well.
That's what I was thinking. It's exactly what I was thinking. He doesn't know if he's gonna hear his best friend's voice forever. Like, he doesn't know. Compliment her, yes.
I've still got that song you sang last week at the Rutherford stuck in my head. You were amazing.
Aw.
Thank you, Miles. That was a lovely evening. I always enjoy it when Joseph brings out his violin and we can relive the old days.
Certainly nicer than when he spends hours telling the exact same story whenever you visit.
They were very glad to see you, you know.
It's probably the most fun I've had in months, to be honest.
They've invited us for dinner again in a couple of weeks, if you're feeling up to it.
I hope I am.
Aw. How's work?
How's work going? You have any appointments today?
Yes, one this evening. It's been a bit slow lately, but pretty soon it'll be debutante ball season, and all the Gascon grand dames will need their hair done. You sure I can't convince you to let me give you a little trim? You've been looking awfully scruffy lately.
What's the point? I've got no need to go peacocking around town. You're the only girl for me.
I like it when you're clean cut. It brings out your eyes.
The way my eyes have been looking lately, I think it's best to keep them hidden.
Okay, so I don't understand. I thought she was a singer. I don't know if I misunderstood something, but maybe she does like hair cutting as a side hustle, or the singing is a side hustle. I don't know. Maybe I didn't listen properly.
What's that you're reading?
It's a collection of short stories by James Penstroke. It was just published earlier this month.
Any good?
Oh yes, I love his work. He's been publishing a new serial in Brentwell magazine. I can't wait to read it. Perhaps we both can together? I think you'd enjoy him.
Aw.
Lately, I haven't been able to concentrate on a page for more than 5 minutes without nodding off.
That is a pity.
I'll let you get back to your book.
Oh, she wanted to do like a buddy read with him, and I get it. Like, he literally has someone's voice in his head, but he should do a buddy read. Okay, I think I'm heading out to the coffee shop, I think.
Have a lovely day, Addie.
Don't work yourself too hard, dear.
Maybe a bit of hard work is what he needs. Ruin coffee house. And this is my house. Okay, cool.
Ah, the Rouen Coffee House. Worst Java in Lamplight City, but there's no better place to overhear all the rumors and gossip in town. Just make sure you don't get too close to the other patrons. Discretion was never your forte.
Look at the flies here. Oh no.
Not in much of a hurry to clean up in here, are they?
Scythe,
What
why?
a cheery reminder of everyone's impending death. That whole thing about the man in the black robe, complete lie, by the way.
Oh, good to know. Who's that?
Self-Portrait as a Desperate Man by B. Calvert. A bit like looking in the mirror, isn't it, Miles?
Yeah, they do have a bit of a resemblance now. Okay, so I've got a map. What's in my casebook? Okay, nothing much. Because I don't have a case. Ah, I see. Okay, and the message... Okay, this is great. So then it comes in here and I don't have to go back if I have to read it again. Painting?
Nice seaside landscape. Definitely a stark contrast to the ambiance in here.
Yeah, this poor guy. It's a shame he's dead because he really just needed a holiday.
Green's sulfur soap. Beautifies the complexion and leaves you smelling fresh as a daisy. Talk about false advertising. I couldn't get a date for a week after using that stuff. Dr. Tennyson's Vigor Pills. Absolutely guaranteed to restore vitality, youth, and vigor or your money back. For use by men only. These things seem to have had a spike in popularity recently.
Vigor pills. What if a woman gets
Dr.
vigor?
W.S. Sales Wonder Tonic. The best and safest medicine for both gentlemen and ladies. Prevents consumption, general weakness, feverishness, indigestion, constipation, diarrhea, loss of appetite, flatulence, and head pain. They should also mention that it prevents breathing, heartbeats, and being alive.
Yeah, cool.
Professor Xander Colt Tit III's emulsified soporific, available at all discerning pharmacies. I really don't know why you think taking that rat piss every night is a good idea for them. Simon Banks, professional chimney sweep. Services start at 2 coppers per hour. Inquire at 305 Merrick Lane. I'm sure he's a lovable urchin, but thankfully, your chimney is clean. P.D. Preston's patented papier-mâché perambucat. Handsomely upholstered in silk, satin, or velvet, and hand-painted in the most artistic manner, as shown in engraving. I suppose if you and Adelaide ever finally decide to have children, something like this will come in handy. Best avoid that one. He looks like he might tip over at any moment.
That's true.
Reminds me of when I was alive. Ah, good times.
He's kind of leaning towards this side. I guess this lady, yeah, she's who I need to speak to, but let's just have a look at
A
everything.
young woman holding a guitar. Completely the wrong way, I might add.
I don't know. Yes, the wrong way, but what if it's a cello? Is it a cello? I don't know. Sacks of beans.
If this is how they store their coffee beans, it's probably a better idea to ask for tea.
Why? Because it's open? Yeah, it'll get like clammy.
Asleep at a coffee house. One of life's little ironies. All that metal and tubing just to serve a hot cup of coffee?
Yeah.
Seems like they have a little something for everyone in here. He and his friend are having quite the conversation. I bet it's really boring.
Why are you betting that? It might be good.
He's missing his left arm below the elbow. How do you suppose that happened?
I don't know. Anyone's guess is as good as mine. Let's just say hello to Constance.
If it isn't my old friend, up to no good.
Hello, Fordham. It's good to see you.
How did you get them to let you in here?
It's rather simple, really. The owner and I have an understanding. He pretends women are allowed in coffee houses, and I don't report his unsavory business practices to Chief Snelling.
Sounds like a good deal. What sort of unsavory business practices are we talking about?
Oh, we haven't got time to get into that now. But take some advice. Don't order anything that isn't water.
Ah, okay. Well, I don't know. In those times, the water wasn't even that clean. Like, the cleanest thing you could drink was beer or something, so... a bit weird. Managed to sneak another case past Snelling.
Managed to sneak another case past Snelling, eh?
Yes, and if he finds out I did, it won't be pretty. This is a big one.
We're not in lost cat territory anymore.
So stop teasing me and tell me what it is already.
Do you know Madame Laura Dupre?
Yes, we read it in the article. Madame Laura Dupre, I can't remember. She married a few times, had 2 children. Yeah.
Laura Dupre? She's one of those Gascon Grand Dames, isn't she?
That's right. I'm surprised you've heard of her. I didn't think you cared about those types of people.
I don't, but Adelaide has several of them as clients. She gets paid to pretend to care about their lives, and I get to hear the sordid details.
Madame Dupre died the day before yesterday. Her funeral was held this morning.
My condolences.
But halfway through the service, the mourners heard a loud knocking coming from inside her coffin.
She wasn't dead?
Apparently not. Nearly interred alive, although her doctor swears she had no pulse. Dupre's son Andrew was quick to suspect foul play. He accused a man named Albert Martin, and the police arrested him.
So where do I come in? Sounds like the case has already been solved.
I strongly suspect that Martin is innocent, especially considering the talk of him having used black magic on Dupre. The police feel they have enough evidence to convict, so they're not bothering to investigate any further. You're going to look into it and see if I'm right, then find the person who was really behind this.
Isn't it just incompetence? Because I remember they had that system where they had... What did they do? They tied like a bell around a piece of rope around someone's hand and then a bell outside the grave. So that if you were buried alive, you would ring the bell and they could come dig you up. And that was just like from pure incompetence or just not knowing modern medicine, basically. But anyway, why not just ask her? Has Madame Dupree... Yeah, ask her.
Why not just ask Madame Dupre herself?
She hasn't spoken since the ordeal. Apparently, she's been catatonic since they pulled her out of the coffin.
How unfortunate.
If you'd like to question Mr. Martin, he's being held at the Bow Street Jail. Or you could take a look around his house. It's at 451 Compton Street in Worcester.
And the Dupre home?
That's at Emmeline and Comtesse, right across from the old Angeline convent. It's also possible you might run into the police during your investigation, since they're technically still on the case.
Thanks for the warning.
Okay.
Was there anything you wanted to talk about before you get started?
Yeah. Of course.
Yes, actually, I had a couple of questions.
Let's hear them then.
Hello, Miss Upton. Let's ask about herself. How's she doing?
How are things going with you?
Work is hectic as usual, and I'm spending my day off in here. But considering my home life is still a shambles, maybe this is the best place to be.
I'm truly sorry about that.
Don't be ridiculous. If it hadn't been for you, I'd still be chained to that philandering bastard. It hasn't been easy, but I'm much better off this way. Trust me. Anyway, work gives me something to focus on. I'm sure you can relate to that.
Yes, and I'm grateful to you for getting me these case leads. I know you're taking a risk to do it.
It's the least I can do. How about you? How's Adelaide?
She's fine, although things between us could be improved, if I'm being honest. The less said about it right now, the better, I think.
I'm sorry to hear that. You can talk to me about it if you need to, although I'm probably not the best person to ask for relationship advice.
Yeah, I'm not clear on why he cannot just go back to work and solve cases anymore. Is it because he has this voice in his head, or I don't know. Well, he's looking a bit shaggy, so maybe it's because they think he's not recovered. Bill's death.
Don't suppose there have been any developments regarding Bill's murder?
Unfortunately not. The department hasn't exactly been focusing on that case as a priority. The general attitude is that it was an accident. Bill died an honorable death in the line of duty.
Would have been nice if they bothered saying that at the funeral.
And of course there are still those who blame you for his death, Snelling being the first and foremost.
But the man who killed him is still out there.
Yes, I know, but it looks like you're on your own if you want to find him. My hands are tied. I can only ask around so much before the higher-ups get suspicious. Just don't give up. New Britannia may be a big city, but the criminal world is surprisingly close-knit. If you find any connections or leads during your other cases, be sure and let me know. I'll do the same if I find anything out.
See, she has a priorities straight. You could learn a lot from Upton.
I've been trying to place her voice, and I think it's Madeline from the Blackwell series, like the old timey ghost person. I'm not sure, but it might be her. Okay, let's review the case. Maybe she has more to
I
say.
wanted to go over the case with you.
Okay, what have you got?
I've just read about her in the paper.
What do you know about Madame Dupre?
Only what I've read about her in the paper.
Exactly.
She's been married twice, which I can empathize with, and she's extremely rich, which I can't.
What makes you think this Martin fellow is innocent?
The fact that the only evidence is the word of Dupre's son. I've seen this sort of thing thousands of times, and I'm sure you did too. They're just looking for a scapegoat. You're the only person I know who can put it right.
Upton's intentions are noble, but she has to realize this is just a drop in the ocean.
That's enough about the case for now.
Okay,
That's it, I think.
Yeah.
then you'd better get back to it.
Yeah, I need to gather evidence.
Well, I'm not entirely sure how this is going to help you find the flower shop burglar, but I suppose freeing an innocent man is a worthy diversion.
I guess it helps that the voice in my head is another detective, although I don't know how good he was because he was just like thinking about drinking all the time. Just to see these people.
Just one of many patrons contributing to the oppressive thug in here.
What does the word fug mean? Sounds bad.
Judging by the sooty apron, this man is either a metal worker, a chimney sweep, or just really lazy when it comes to washing.
Yeah, he just looks like a worker. I don't think he didn't wash his clothes.
Give me an old-fashioned tea kettle any day. The specialty house brews. These are definitely not coffee. She's running back and forth at lightning speed. Clearly, she dips into the coffee supply.
Okay. Okay, let's go solve something. Dupre, Madame Dupre, who's not dead but catatonic, so... Okay, there was a lot of things. So this is where the man is being kept. This is the Dupre Manor. I don't fully remember what this was. Let's go to the jail first.
Fordham? Is that you? You look like something a cat spat up.
Hello, Giles.
Thanks.
It's lovely to see you too.
What brings you round the jail? I thought you'd quit being a detective.
I'm looking to speak with Mr. Albert Martin.
Oh, I see. Well, that's him in the first cell there. I'd say what needs saying as quick as you can, though. He's headed for the gallows in the morning.
Wow.
What? Already? But what about a trial?
No trial necessary when there's black magic involved. This little half-breed's already sealed his fate.
Such a charming fellow, isn't he?
Yeah, I already want to punch him in the face.
Not much of a view. But then it's not as though people in here are meant to have many luxuries.
Yeah, let's just go speak to Martin. Then I'll look around if there's something to see.
Mr. Martin?
Who are you? My lawyer?
No, I'm actually here to help you. The name's Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator.
How are you going to help me?
I'm looking into the attack on Madame Dupre. I believe you're innocent.
Oh, thank heaven. That's music to my ears.
Would you mind answering a few questions for me?
Friend, if it means saving me from the noose, I'll tell you nothing less than God's truth.
Interesting choice of phrase for someone accused of using black magic.
Yeah, he seems like a God-fearing man. Let's ask about him first.
How did you end up in here?
I was just minding my own business at home when the police showed up with no warning. They made some outrageous claims about me putting some sort of curse on Madame Dupre. The next thing I knew, I was here. Oh, Mama must be beside herself with worry. I just hope she's all right.
Oh, I hope someone informed her what's going on. Maybe I can offer to go tell her what the hell happened.
What does your mother do, Mr. Martin?
Oh, no.
She helps people.
I was hoping you'd be just a bit more specific.
She provides spiritual help to those who seek guidance.
Ooh, I do.
She's a spiritualist.
I see guidance.
Not quite. She's more like... How can I explain it? You know how a priest holds mass to spread the word of God to the people? My mother holds services and calls on the spirits to walk among us, providing healing and guidance.
So she's a religious leader?
If you want to give her that title, it would be the most appropriate.
And does this religion of yours have a name?
You'd probably know it as voodoo, but it doesn't mean what you think it does. People are so quick to judge and portray us as evil when they have no idea.
Ah, interesting. Okay, so the claims against him are I mean, it's just like they just falsely accused him, but it's because of what his mother does, I'm guessing. Yeah.
So you practice voodoo, do you?
Are you making fun of me, Mr. Fordham?
No, of course not. Apologies if it seemed as though I was. It's just that the police are convinced that black magic was involved in Madame Dupre's apparent death.
That's because that idiot son of hers knew about my mother, and like all bigoted fools, assumed that we're involved in devil worship and the black arts. But I can assure you that this is most certainly not the case, Mr. Fordham.
Of course, I didn't mean to imply.
Just forget it.
Yeah, no, so that's exactly what I thought. Like, they knew about his mother, so it was a very easy way to just stick this crime on him. Yeah.
What can you tell me about Madame Dupre?
What's to tell? She's a twisted, evil woman who got what was coming to her. Whoever
Oh.
attacked her deserves some sort of reward for the service they're doing the community.
Oh.
So it wasn't you then?
No, I'm innocent, Mr. Fordham. You have to believe me.
I'm afraid you're not making that very easy right now, Mr. Martin.
Okay, I mean, the news article they didn't really talk about her character, right? So I didn't know if she was a bad person.
Do you know anything about the circumstances of Madame Dupre's supposed death?
No, I had nothing to do with it.
Then why did her son accuse you?
Probably because he's just as ignorant as she is.
What I meant was, how did her son know to accuse you? Have you had any contact with the family before?
Yes, you could say that.
Uh-oh. That gleam in his eye says it all.
Yeah.
You see, I'm involved with Dupre's daughter, Juliet Montgomery. Dupre doesn't like that one bit. She even threatened me once.
Is that right?
Yes. She might have everyone else fooled, but that woman is the devil incarnate. I can't understand how something so heartless and cruel could have spawned someone as pure and loving as my dear Juliet.
He's not really helping his case much, is he?
Not at all. Really not at all. He's just incriminating himself.
Tell me about Juliet.
She's wonderful. Such a beautiful, kind soul. She hasn't come to see me yet, but I'm sure that's because of all the confusion in the last few days.
Oh, no.
Juliet wouldn't believe for a second that I would be capable of harming her mother. I'm sure of it.
How did you two get involved?
We met at the university.
Your classmates?
Hardly. They wouldn't allow someone like me to enroll there.
Oh, no.
Juliet studies botany. I work as an assistant in the greenhouse. We started talking, and she actually treated me like a person. To everyone else, I was just the boy who fetched the test tubes. But Juliet actually wanted to hear what I had to say, had the same taste in books and art. Didn't just treat me like some piece of gardening equipment. She even shared some of her notes with me after I told her I was interested in botany as well. From there, things just got better. I don't expect you to understand or approve, but that's how it happened.
Oh, you'd be surprised. It doesn't sound too different to how my wife and I got together. Except I was a detective and she was a singer at a bar.
And she's...
Yes, Mr. Martin. Anyway, back to the matter at
Okay.
hand. How often is Juliet in the greenhouse?
every weekday, but I doubt she's there now. She's probably trying to find out where I am and working to have me released.
Somehow, I wouldn't bet on that.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna make an...
That's all for now.
No.
Wait,
Wait.
before you go, would you do me a favor? Would you go see my mother at our house and give her a message?
You're at 451 Compton Street, right?
Yes, that's right. Could you tell her I said St. Rock's dog is barking?
I suppose I could do that, yes.
Okay,
Oh, thank you.
Whatever happened to a simple I love you?
I agree. Okay, can I make my bold claim now? Okay, so I think Juliet, because she studies botany, I think she hated her own mother, and she slowly poisoned her, and that's why she appeared to be dead, because she was poisoned by the daughter. And I don't know, maybe she did love him. I don't know if she's really coming to save him, but she might have also used him to get information on, okay, let's call it voodoo. And maybe she used some knowledge gained in that way. I don't know. I don't know why I'm calling her a murderer, but that's my theory so far from everything that I know. Wait, let's just... So we've done talking to him?
Not much in the way of comfort. No bed or even a bucket. It's a good thing this place is meant for short stays.
Yeah.
Either crime is low, or the police aren't doing their jobs very well.
I don't think crime is low. Horn.
I bet that's a direct line to the police department. You should make a rude noise into it when Giles isn't paying attention.
But Giles is paying full attention.
He's watching you like a hawk. Looks liable to toss you in one of his cells if you try any funny business.
It's good that I don't want any funny business. Okay. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Mr. Martin. So, uni, Dupree Manor, coffee house. So should I go tell her what I've learned every time? Right? That's kind of what she asked me to do. Come and tell her every time something has happened.
We haven't anything to discuss right now, Fordham. Come back when you've got something for me.
Okay. So, no, I was a bit too eager. Let's go speak to the mother and say the... What? The roach?
Compton Street. We're not too far from Restaurant Row. When's the last time you ate, anyway?
Please, let's not add eating to the list of things to nag me about.
What? St. Roach is barking again or something like that? So there's a lot of stuff here, but this is where I need to go first, at least.
I'm sorry, I have no time for visitors today.
It's about your son. Albert, okay.
You're Albert Martin's mother, aren't you?
Who are you?
Miles Fordham. I spoke with Albert, and he told me to give you a message. He said to tell you that St. Roch's dog is barking.
Oh, I see. That's good. That's very good. You better come in, Mr. Fordham. Standing on the street just won't do.
Okay. Okay, so that was like some password thing so that she would trust me, I guess.
Welcome to my home, Mr. Fordham. I am Sabine Martin. I hope you understand that Albert has nothing to do with this awful business. Would you care for some tea?
Well, her tune certainly changed when you gave her that message. I wonder what it meant.
No, thank you, ma'am. I won't be staying long.
Let's look around.
The Virgin Mary. I must admit, she was the last person I was expecting to see in here.
Yeah, interesting.
For all we know, that rider is some sort of demon. He looks like he's having a good time, at least.
Why a demon? Maybe one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, but otherwise I don't know why demon.
A rather unremarkable book collection, I'm sorry to say. That statue, on the other hand, gives me the willies.
Wait, what? Why are we focusing on this statue? It's okay, something.
A rather unremarkable book collection.
Okay. Okay.
Interesting. Those pots look as though they've been wrapped in tobacco leaves.
Is he stretching his back?
That pattern resembles a flower. Too bad it isn't an Easter lily.
I don't know what an Easter lily
It's
looks
some
like.
old man with a dog standing at the center of a crossroads. If that's meant to have any sort of significance, it's completely lost on me.
St. Roach. Dog is barking. I don't know why he's so hung up on this statue. Curtain. Let's pull it open. That's a bit rude to walk into someone's house.
I'm afraid that room is private, Mr. Fordham. I must respectfully ask you to not go in there.
No, actually...
Of course. My apologies.
Yeah, she has the fullest right to react that way. I apologize for my own behavior. Let's talk to her.
I've got a few questions for you, Mrs. Martin.
I'll try to answer them the best I can.
Hello, Miss Martin. I want to know about Madame Dupré.
Do you know anything about Madame Laura Dupré?
I never met her in person, but I know plenty about her.
Like what?
Nothing fit for polite conversation, Mr. Fordham. But I can tell you this. Laura Dupré has far more enemies than she lets on.
Does that include you or your son?
It most certainly does not.
Okay. Talk about her.
What exactly is it you do, Mrs. Martin?
I provide services to the public.
A delightfully vague answer if there ever was one. Give me something a bit more specific, please.
I'm a Mambo Asugwe. That means I'm what you call a voodoo queen.
Wow.
I'd give you a detailed explanation of the responsibilities and duties of the role, but your time would be better spent clearing my son's name.
Voodoo queen. That's really freaking impressive.
Can you tell me a bit more about your religious practices?
What I can tell you is that the ignorant whites in this city are afraid of us for no reason. Voodoo is not about black magic or dark spells or turning people into the living dead. It's about healing and life. Naturally, there are misguided souls who may try to use it for ill purposes, but I am not one of those.
Sounds like you hit a sore spot. Might be a good idea to stop pressing her on this angle.
Okay. Well, it's good then that the conversation topic fell away. Let's ask about her son.
Do you think your son is capable of doing what he stands accused of?
Never. Albert wouldn't harm a fly.
That's what the mothers always say.
He's got a
Why
point.
don't you tell me a bit more about him then?
He started working at the university laboratory a few years ago. I was so proud of him. The university is quite selective, you know. The same for its staff as well as its students.
Yes, I've gotten that impression.
I always told Albert to be careful around those high society types, but that one always thinks with his heart first.
Is she sure that's the correct body part?
He's all the family I have, Mr. Fordham.
Oh, funny. Yeah, does she know Juliet?
What do you know about Juliet, Madame Dupre's daughter?
I know Albert was smitten with her, no matter that I told him to be very careful around her kind. Those rich Creole families don't care much for people like us. To them, we're just a help. But from his telling, Juliet sounded to be a decent soul. It's a shame the same can't be said for her kin.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know about my accusation of Juliet, but if she's not trying to save Albert, then yes, she's up to something.
If you'll indulge my curiosity, what exactly was the meaning of Albert's message?
Saint Roch is the patron saint of dogs, as well as the falsely accused. If he sent the message along with you, it means he trusts you, and that I should too.
Oh, I see.
Cute.
Perhaps you were hoping for something more? That's just the way of mysteries, isn't it?
How do you mean?
The thrill of the unknown is always more exciting than the truth. Mystery makes life a little more interesting.
True, but if mysteries were really better unsolved, I wouldn't have a job.
Yeah, fair enough. Ooh, I think you should drink the tea. I want to
I think
hear.
I'll take you up on your offer for tea, after all.
All right, Mr. Fordham. You'll have to give me a few minutes to heat up the kettle. I'll be back shortly.
Yeah, let's have a bit of tea. Is that because he wants to take
For
the
all we know,
statue
that
down?
rider is some sort of a rather
Because I want to look in the room. Okay.
amazing. Even more voodoo stuff back there. Why would she keep these particular items hidden from view?
Good question.
They obviously have some importance to her. I'd suggest asking, but I don't know if that's the best idea given how sensitive she seems to be about the subject.
Where's the tea?
The tea should be ready in a few minutes, Mr. Fordham. You can help yourself once it's done.
Okay.
You're very kind, Mrs. Martin.
So now, see, I don't know if this will split off into two, let's say, timelines. If I ask her about it or not, because she might get angry and throw me out. And if I don't ask, I don't
I've got a few questions for you, Mrs. Martin.
Let's just keep
I'll try to answer them the
pressing
best
her.
I can.
Maybe we can ask in a respectful way why... Yeah, well, I guess not. Let's ask. She might throw me out.
About that back room of yours.
I beg your pardon?
I don't know about this, Miles. Is this really a road you want to go down?
No, I don't actually. It's very invasive. Ugh, I hate it when I'm unsure, but...
Actually, never mind. I misspoke. Thank you for your help.
My pleasure.
Yeah, it's very invasive. No, we'll just leave it for now. I don't know. Hopefully we'll get a second chance to come back if we need to. Where my tea at? Can I... Where is it?
Interesting. Those pots?
Okay. So no tea? I don't get tea? What did she say? Where is the tea? Not here.
There's no way you'll be able to look behind that curtain while Mrs. Martin is in the room. You'll need to get her out somehow.
It's okay. It's about the tea, but... So I will have to look in that room, but I'm not going to do it now. Don't think it's the right moment for
Aren't you
it.
going to have your tea, Mr. Fordham?
I'm afraid I just remembered something important I need to look into. Perhaps later.
Suit yourself.
That was a bit rude. I made her make tea and then I just leave. I think I'm gonna leave it here for now. And then next time, I don't know, go to the... I want to go to the university first. Yeah, Thank you all for watching, and there will definitely be many more parts of this, because I think this is going to be a long game, but I'm already very intrigued, and it looks beautiful, and the voice acting is great. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one.